First is environment. Second is man. Please understand. So, who control whom? Who control whom? Who determine whom? Determinism. Who determine? The word determinism comes from who determine whom? Okay, now here environmental determinism, who is more powerful? Environment. In the first case one in environmental determinism case. Case one. First scenario. So who is powerful? Nature is what? Nature is powerful, controlling. So human behavior, human patterns is a byproduct of man or byproduct of environment. As for this theory, nature control and direct which patterns? Human patterns. So who is stronger? Environment is stronger. That doesn't, any human pattern or cultural pattern, whatever you see, like food we eat, house we live in, economic activities we perform, how we look like, all is determined by whom? Nature, by environment. Like some is dark color, some is white colored, some is red colored, some is yellowish. Why the different races emerged? Races by product of what? Environment. Different environmental conditions produce different kind of people racially. Isn't it or not? Economic activities, somewhere more jungle is there, they are engaged in forestry activity. More resources there, mineral mining activities. Land is fertile, they are engaged in what? Agriculture activities. Now, where the agriculture properly is able to perform, they are mainly this called the vegetarians more, isn't it or not? And wherever the agriculture activities cannot be performed more, they are more, the food habit is what? On animal food, isn't it or not? They become non-vegetarian. So that means human patterns or cultural traits is a byproduct of what? Environmental conditions. Different environment produce different human societies and the cultural patterns. I hope you are getting it. Who determine whom? Answer is environment determine human. So that means progress and development is decided by whom? Any challenges and disturbances existing anywhere, underdevelopment, backwardness also explained by whom? Environment. Some areas are advanced because of good environmental conditions. Some areas are backward because of environmental conditions are negative, harsh, like mountains, hilly, desert, forest, the challenging condition for development. So I hope you got this. Who control whom? So when nature control and direct, the man patterns, cultural patterns, or called what? Level of development. So I hope you, the food, houses, you go to the hilly areas, you get different pattern of houses. If you come to the plains, different patterns of houses will be there, isn't it or not? So depending on the environment. So human pattern, cultural pattern, developmental characteristics, all due to environment. And this concept called, so the man is what? In this is an active agent or passive agent? Come on. Man is man is a passive agent, only receiver. So man isn't active, can do anything. As for this this viewpoint, man is a passive agent, is a receiver. Okay, but it cannot respond to the nature, adapt and adjusted to the nature. So man is a passive agent, adjusted and adapted according to what? To nature or environmental conditions. Isn't it or not? So who control whom? So here environmental, so this view is deterministic viewpoint. So if India is underdeveloped, America is developed, so this thought says that America is rich in resource, India is poor in resources, isn't it or not? That's what America is rich. So what is an outcome of this thought? Come on. What is an outcome of this thought? Outcome of this thought is like it will status quo. Status quo of the society should be accepted. Whatever the form it is existing, it should be accepted in the original form. So who live like this more? Come on. Which societies are more controlled by environment? Rural areas, tribal areas, backward area, interiors. These are more controlled. Just who is more determined? Just means tribal societies, rural societies, forest societies. You just try to understand. Tribal, rural, forest, hilly areas, etc. It is desert. So that means societies are controlled by their environment. Desert environment, rural environment, forest environment, hilly environment. They are controlled. So the developing countries are more determined, or developed countries are more determined by environment. Come on, now think of this. More developed, you have to compare this. Which societies are more controlled by environment? The developing countries or developed countries? Just we are putting two groups only. Developing countries. Third world countries are this. So example of third world countries of Africa, Asia, Latin America, they are more, or island countries, they are more environmentally determined. So question is, who is more environmentally determined? One is within every country, tribal population, rural population, forest population, hilly population, desert population, more determined. In general, a broader category, developing countries are more determined by environment than developed countries. Is it fine? Okay. Chalo. Now opposite. Some become critic of this thought. That means you have to accept